the introduction to microbiology. So we have already studied all these things: pratyakshami alpam, analpam, apratyakshamasti. Asti. We also studied about the classification of life forms. We studied about Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae, Animalia. Right? Once again, quick recap. So the cells basically are of two types: prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. Prokaryotic cells do not have membrane-bound cell organelles, and there are some other differences like ribosomes are different. So prokaryotic, they are unicellular, and unicellular prokaryotic, which we are concerned of, are bacteria. So all bacteria are unicellular prokaryotes, whereas protista are unicellular eukaryotes like protozoas, malaria, amoeba, and we will study about certain other multicellular eukaryotic organisms like helminths. So infections. So we have studied prions, we have studied bacteria, excuse me. Now we are going to study viruses. Right? Before we study viruses, let us have a quick recap over them. So bacteria, they were classified, I have classified them as gram positive, gram negative, and other bacteria. Viruses, we are going to study them now. Prions were the proteinaceous particles which causes infections. Protozoas are, as we have studied, unicellular eukaryotic organisms. Example, amoeba. Example, malaria. Example, the causal organism for malaria, Plasmodium. Then we have helminths. Helminths are the worms. Worms like hookworms, like tapeworms. Basically, helminths are divided into cystodes, nematodes, and trematodes. Trematodes are the flukes, and cystodes are the hookworms, and the trematodes are the nematodes are the roundworms. So cystodes, nematodes, and trematodes. And then we have arthropods. Arthropods are other infectious agents like insects, insect bite, spider bite, or some other. So we are not going to study protozoa here, we are not going to study helminths here and arthropods here because they are quite specific and we will study them. Malaria, we will study in malaria, and worms infestations, we will study in worm infestations. So today we are going to study about viruses. Virus. So we already know that the viruses, they are not living organisms, they are intracellular parasites. Why they are not living organisms? Because they do not have the necessary enzymes and necessary functioning elements for the metabolism, for any type of metabolism. They require a host cell for their metabolism. So they are considered as dead, or more appropriately, they are considered on the borderline of being of living and non-living. So virus structure is mostly an icosahedral structure. See this octagon like structure, right? This is icosahedral structure. Icosahedral means just like a football. You see football from any side, it appears as same. So icosahedral structure. Some viruses even have helical structure also, right? In this icosahedral structure, the DNA is placed over a nucleoprotein and is covered, right? It is the nucleic acids and nucleoproteins are always enclosed in the protein capsid, and it is covered by a capsid, a proteinaceous membrane, right? Sometimes this, apart from this nucleoprotein, it is also covered by a glycoprotein, which is most of the times it belongs to the host cell. So the virus, when escaping from the host cell, it takes away some of the membrane, and that is called as glycoprotein. Viral genomes can be RNA or they can be DNA, both single stranded and double stranded. So based on the genetic material, we are now going to classify virus. Virus can be classified as DNA virus or RNA virus. So let us first study the viruses which causes infections and which are DNA, which contain genetic material as DNA. So let us classify viruses into DNA viruses. So first, DNA virus which we are going to study, and which infects respiratory system, and which we should always remember is adenovirus. Adenoviruses are very common DNA viruses which infects the respiratory system, especially the upper respiratory tract, and and uh, and the larger airways also, and sometimes the lower respiratory tract also. So they might cause symptoms of common cold symptoms like running nose, like sneezes, like throat irritations, like cough, like headache, pneumonia. They can also cause pneumonia. Croup is tracheolaryngeo bronchitis, right, where the trachea is also inflamed, the bronchi is also having inflammation, and the larynx is also having inflammation. Bronchitis, right? So these adenoviruses, mostly they causes respiratory troubles, and in and everybody, each one of us has ever been, at any point of time in life, have been infected by these. So most children have been infected by at least one adenovirus by the time they reach school. It is as much prevalent in the environment, and we all get infected. No specific treatment is required. In fact, for most of the viruses, the body has good immunity. Whenever the immune system of the body is not functioning appropriately, then only these viruses become problematic, apart from few exceptions, right? So respiratory infections, DNA virus, we have studied adenovirus. Then the next is liver infection, right? Liver infection. So liver infection, the DNA virus, the only among all the hepatitis types, the only type which has a DNA virus is hepatitis B, and we already know, or we should know, what is hepatitis, because it is a very very grave disease if not controlled properly, or if it goes to chronicity. If it goes to chronicity, it can cause liver cirrhosis. The picture shown here is of liver having cirrhosis, or hepatocellular carcinoma, right? Cancer of liver, right? It is very much prevalent, hepatitis B, and you should know that among all the type, among the A, B, C, D, E types of hepatitis B, only hepatitis B is a DNA virus. Then next is the skin infections, right? The skin infections, the DNA viruses which are responsible for skin infections are two DNA viruses. One is herpes virus and other is papilloma virus. So herpes virus is human herpes virus, HHV, and human papilloma virus. So this human herpes virus, see students, infections, we have to study all these diseases in detail, and we will study them in detail according to the syllabus, or you will cover them in your later classes, in your medicine classes, Kajikitsa classes, or if not at all covered, you have to read them, because these patients, they come to you and you have to differentiate between a viral disease and a bacterial disease at least. And because based on the common infection, you have to divide the patient into viral disease or bacterial disease, and accordingly you have to give the treatment. See, you cannot give antibiotics for viral infections, right? And most of the upper respiratory tract infections for a normal, otherwise normal, a healthy human being are viral. So you should know where to do what. So this human herpes virus, mostly the manifestations are on the skin. So I have categorized it under skin infection. So human herpes virus, HHV, it is of many types, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there are some other types, 6, 7, but I have not included them. 1 to 5 types are important. So they have alternate names also. For example, the type 1 is also called as herpes simplex virus 1. Type 2 is called as herpes simplex virus 2. Type 3 is called as varicella zoster virus. And type 4 is called as Epstein-Barr virus. Type 5 is called as cytomegalovirus, right? So we will have a summarized look on them. So let us see. So first is herpes human virus 1 and 2, also called as herpes simplex virus. So this herpes simplex virus 1 and 2, they mostly causes herpes labialis or genital herpes, right? So this herpes labialis or genital herpes, they appear as a maculopapular rash with a vesicular rash in between. And the herpes labialis, as the name is telling, labialis, labial means on the near to the lips. So herpes labialis near to the lips. If an infection, if something looks like this, then mostly it is a herpes labialis infection, right? Most of the times these viral infections, they are self-limited if an individual is not having any immunocompromised or immunodeficiency states. Then we have genital herpes. It occurs near the genital region and accordingly it has been named as genital herpes. Otherwise, genital herpes and herpes labialis, they are caused by herpes, uh, herpes simplex virus 1 and 2. Right? Then we have this herpes might infect the nerves also, and see in this case Bell's palsy, the facial nerve, the seventh cranial nerve is infected by the herpes infection. It is one of the cause. The Bell's palsy, the one of the cause is herpes infection of the cranial nerve. So if this cranial nerve, if seventh cranial nerve is infected, then it might cause Bell's palsy. So herpes simplex virus or herpes human herpes virus 1 and 2. Then human herpes virus 3, it is also called as, commonly called as varicella zoster virus. You will not find HHV3 name in old books. You will find varicella zoster virus, VZV. So this varicella is chickenpox. That is why we give in immunization schedule, we give to children, we give varicella vaccine. So chickenpox, right? So chickenpox, it manifests mostly in the skin, apart from fever and itching, right? So skin, we have these maculopapular rash and their centripetal distribution, means they start from the center and they distribute to the peripheries, right? So first they will appear on the chest region, right? So chickenpox, varicella. So this varicella, mostly the children they are infected by this. The varicella is mostly found in children, whereas this herpes zoster, which causes shingles, right? The disease is called as shingles, right? So these maculopapular vesicular eruptions, right? Vesicular eruptions, these are called as shingles. So whenever this varicella zoster virus infects the child, it is called as chickenpox. It manifests as chickenpox. Whenever the same varicella zoster virus it infects the adults, it manifests as shingles. And this varicella zoster virus is renamed as herpes zoster in adults, right? So it is one and the same thing. The causes for chickenpox and shingles is HHV3 or varicella zoster virus, right? So don't get confused, right? You can remember the HHV3, it manifests as chickenpox in children, and in adults it manifests as shingles. So then we have HHV4, human herpes virus 4. It is also called as Epstein-Barr virus. So this is the mouth cavity. So this Epstein-Barr virus, it causes mononucleosis, also called as glandular fever, right? It infects the glands. So see, it has infected the tonsils here and it has caused the exudates. The white color things are, they are the pus filled pockets and they are called the condition is called as this is pharyngitis, right? The pharynx has inflamed, this pharynx has inflamed apart from the tonsillitis, right? And these tonsils, they have become exudative. So exudative pharyngitis is the characteristic feature of this viral infection, Epstein-Barr virus, or this exudative pharyngitis is also the characteristic feature of bacteria, the staphylococcal bacteria. So this staphylococcal bacteria also infects the pharynx, right? So most of the pharyngitis, they are viral, and the most common is Epstein-Barr virus, especially if the pharyngitis is having exudates. Then we have HHV5, human herpes virus 5. It is also called as cytomegalovirus, and this cytomegalovirus, when it infects the newborn through the mother, this cytomegalovirus infects the mother, and from the mother it gets the fetus gets infected. And if fetus gets infected, that the newborn, when it is born, right, if it is born, because most of the time it causes spontaneous abortion, if not, then the child is born with growth retardation, intrauterine growth retard. The child body weight will be less than the normal, that is, less than the 2500 grams approximately, and then the newborn child will be having mental retardations, microcephaly, right, visual impairments with some visual abnormalities, right, some deficiencies in the vision, and then premature birth weight, low birth weight, coordination disorders, liver, lung and spleen issues. Then we have human papillomavirus. After human herpes virus, we have human papillomavirus, which has major manifestations over the skin. So this human papillomavirus is the major cause for these warts. Can you see these warts? See, this small protruding skin is a wart. So the common warts are caused by human papillomavirus. Also have many types, right? High type 1, 2, 3, 4, 63, 3, 10, 28, like that. And the common warts are caused by this. If these warts are on the feet, we call them as plantar warts, right? Anogenital warts if they are on the genital areas and the anal areas, right? This human papillomavirus is also responsible. Some of the types are also responsible for genital cancers, right? Genital cancers, the cancers of the genital area, cervix, vulva, vagina, penis, anus, right? It is also the cause for oropharyngeal cancer. So human papillomavirus, 90% of the infections they resolve spontaneously, right? It is not a trouble to them, but rest 10% of the human papillomaviruses infections, they might cause cancers. So that's all for DNA viruses. Let us now begin the RNA viruses, the viruses which have genomic material as RNA. So first, CNS infection. Let us start with CNS infection. So the most common RNA viruses which causes CNS troubles are poliovirus, poliomyelitis, right? The poliovirus, it destroys the motor neurons in the spinal cord, brain, and in the brain, and causes paralytic conditions, right? Polio. Then second is rabies, right? Rabies, which the animals are host for them, and from the animals they go into the humans, right? Through a bite, they go into the humans, and these rabies, they also causes CNS troubles, and that might manifest into paralysis, anxiety, insomnia, agitations, confusions, right, hallucinations, and also hydrophobia, the fear of water, and ultimately the person dies if somebody is infected with rabies, right, until unless intervened aggressively. Then we have upper respiratory tract infections. The respiratory tract infections. So this the respiratory tract can be divided into two or three sites, or two or three portions for the easy understanding. So upper respiratory tract infections, URTI, and lower respiratory tract infections is the common division which has been given in the books. Otherwise, upper respiratory tract infections, the larger airway infections, the larger airway like trachea, like bronchi, right? So tracheitis, bronchitis, and then the lower airway infections like pneumonia, right? So you can divide into either it into two, URTI, right, up to the larynx, it is upper respiratory, and from the trachea it is lower respiratory tract infection. So upper respiratory tract infections, right, see, nasal cavity infection, rhinitis, right, the sinuses infection, sinusitis, the tonsils infection, tonsillitis, the pharynx infection, the pharyngitis, then the larynx infection, laryngitis, right? So like that. And then trachea infections in the lower respiratory tract, tracheitis, bronchitis, and pneumonia, right? Inflammation of the airway parenchyma. Then we have this upper respiratory tract infections. The important thing is the upper respiratory tract infections, they are mostly caused by viruses and they don't need antibiotics. So if you are taking antibiotics for any upper respiratory tract infection, say a common cold, or say influenza, or rhinitis, sinusitis, whatever, right, then it is wrong, because they are mostly caused by viruses and they are self-limited by themselves in 5 to 7 days. And whereas the lower respiratory tract infection, the especially the pneumonia, right, the bronchitis, they are mostly caused by bacteria, right? So upper respiratory tract infections, the RNA viruses which we are concerned of, we have already studied a DNA virus called as adenovirus. You can see it here, adenovirus, is a DNA virus which infects the upper respiratory tract. So apart from this, the most common RNA virus, or the most common virus that infects the upper respiratory, or most common infection of upper respiratory tract, is caused by rhinovirus, 30 to 80 virus, 80%, right? Rhinovirus, right? That is why it causes mostly rhinitis. That is why you have a running nose whenever you catch a cold, right? The most important symptom of cold is a running nose, right? So rhinovirus, and then we have second, influenza virus, right? So we already know what is influenza, or in short, the common cold, the most common symptom is running nose, whereas influenza, the common symptom is fever with body ache, right? So if somebody is having fever with body ache predominance, infection, right, upper respiratory tract infections, the indication is towards an influenza virus. But if somebody is having running nose, right, rhinitis trouble more, then the most common infection is rhinovirus. Apart from rhinovirus, the world famous coronavirus, right, then adenovirus we have already studied. Next is respiratory syncytial virus, RSV, respiratory syncytial virus. Apart from this, we have influenza virus, parainfluenza virus, metapneumovirus, enterovirus. Then we have GIT infections caused by RNA viruses. So just like upper respiratory tract, the GIT infections are also caused by many viruses, right? The most important is rotaviruses, but GIT infections are also caused equally by bacterial infections also. We have already studied the GIT causes for bacterial infections, like we have studied the most important causes E. coli, right? The pathogenic strains of E. coli, and then we have studied Shigella, we have studied Salmonella, and we have studied Campylobacter. So these four bacteria, they are the most important causes for bacterial infections of GIT. Apart from these bacterial infections, the GIT is also troubled by viruses as commonly as bacteria, and these are rotavirus, norovirus, and astroviruses. They are the most common, right? Rotavirus is very common, right? It is the most common cause for severe diarrhea, and uh, the diarrhea, these viruses, they are self-limiting, so the diarrhea happens, the loose motions happens, and they are controlled on their own, right? They are limited on their own, right? So these viruses, and the major, or the clinical difference between a viral infection, GIT infection causing diarrhea, and a bacterial infection causing diarrhea is based on the severity. If the diarrhea is associated with blood, if the diarrhea is associated with severe abdominal cramps, and we call that particular condition as dysentery, then these dysenteries are mostly caused by bacteria, right? Bacteria, or sometimes protozoas also, right? So if it is a protozoal infection, we call that as amoebic dysentery, the most common, amoeba, right? Entamoeba histolytica, and then we have bacillary dysenteries from Shigella or Salmonella, right? Or some other bacteria, E. coli, they also causes diarrhea. So amoebic dysentery, bacillary dysentery, or bacterial diarrheas, they are also common. Apart from that, if the symptoms are not that much severe, if there is only diarrhea, watery diarrhea, and the symptoms are not that much severe, and the symptoms are not progressive in nature, then mostly these GIT infections are caused by viruses. So for every loose motion, we don't have to eat antibiotics, or we don't have to stuff ourselves with antibiotics, right? So you should know that the rotaviruses are also common causes for GIT infections, apart from E. coli, Shigella, Salmonella, and Campylobacter. Then we have liver infections. So liver infections, the hepatoviruses, right? Hepatoviruses, right? The viruses which love the hepatic cells. So apart from hepatitis B, all other are RNA viruses, right? So we already know hepatitis manifests mostly as jaundice and inflamed liver hepatitis. Then skin infections caused by RNA viruses, right? So skin infections, you should never forget these three: measles, mumps, rubella, right? Always remember them in a series: measles, mumps, rubella, right? So measles, mostly the children, they are infected by this. You can see this maculopapular, very characteristic maculopapular rash, bright spot, bright red rash, right? Similar to this measles, the person might be infected with German measles or rubella. Rubella is mostly seen in adults, whereas measles are seen in children mostly. And this rubella, they also have the same pattern, but the reddish discoloration will not be that much. And this rubella is also called as 3-day measles, right? These rashes, they generally resolve within 3 days. But this rubella is very important because if it happens to a pregnant lady, then it might cause congenital troubles in the unborn child and in the newborn child. It causes spontaneous abortions, or it causes congenital deformities, right? So then we have mumps. Mumps are the parotid infections, right? We have parotid glands here in front of the ear, right? We have parotid glands here. So parotid glands, they are infected, and that is also called as parotitis. So mumps or parotitis. So measles, mumps, and rubella. Then one more category we can do for DNA, for RNA virus, is fever. So this Aedes aegypti, this good-looking mosquito is very bad otherwise. So this Aedes aegypti, it carries many viruses in it and infects human into many diseases. First is dengue, right? You might have already heard about this dengue. So every year we have this dengue seasons caused by this mosquito season, right? Then we have other manifestations like chikungunya, Zika or Zika, right? The viruses are same: dengue virus, chikungunya virus, Zika virus, yellow fever, right? So yellow fever, the dengue is characterized by this maculopapular rash, right? Papular rash mostly, and papular rash and high-grade fever. The fever, dengue fever, the fever pattern is a saddle-shaped fever, whereas chikungunya is characterized by fever, but it is characteristic with severe joint pains. So chikungunya, the patient will be having joint pains, severe joint pains, and sometimes these joint pains, they remain for a very long time, for 3 months or so. That is called as post-viral arthritis, right? So post-viral arthritis is common feature of chikungunya. And dengue also, sometimes it may cause joint pains, right? Most of the times this dengue fever is characterized with pain in the vertebral column, right? Pain in the back, right? So dengue fever, chikungunya. Zika virus is also the maculopapular rash, right? It is the same. Then we have yellow fever. Yellow fever is characterized by fever with jaundice, right? And the cause is a viral cause apart from hepatitis, right? Apart from viral hepatitis, the cause is this yellow fever virus, and the vector is Aedes aegypti. Then we have AIDS. AIDS is it is caused by human immunodeficiency viruses, which goes and attacks the T helper cells, and these T helper cells can no longer help the immunity, and the person fails in immunity. That is called as immunodeficiency state. And other infections, other opportunistic infections like tuberculosis, like cytomegalovirus, and some other herpes virus, and these viruses, they attack and they kill the person. So let us summarize the infections. So we have studied viruses into two categories: DNA viruses and RNA virus, right? First we studied the respiratory tract infection. Respiratory tract infections, the common DNA virus is an adenovirus, whereas in RNA, the respiratory tract infection, the common RNA virus is rhinovirus. Apart from rhinovirus, we have coronavirus, respiratory syncytial virus, enterovirus, influenza virus, parainfluenza virus, human metapneumovirus, right? Then we have skin infections. The manifestations are mostly on the skin, like human herpes virus, HHV 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we have human papillomaviruses, many types. Human papillomaviruses which manifest as mostly as warts, right? Warts, skin tags. And then we have skin tags-like structures. Then we have human herpes virus, mostly manifest as maculopapular vesicular rash. Then we have liver infections of DNA viruses caused by hepatitis B. Apart from B, A, C, D, E are all RNA viruses. Then we have the CNS infections caused due to RNA viruses, polio and rabies. The two important are polio and rabies. GIT infections, never forget rotavirus, rota, right? Orophycal root, roti, just like roti, rotavirus. Norovirus, astrovirus. Apart from this, we have skin manifestations of skin manifestations: measles, mumps, rubella. Measles, mumps, rubella. Then apart from that, we have viruses which causes the main symptom of which are fever: dengue, chikungunya, Zika, yellow fever, right? That's